begins, the artist's hands skillfully mold image and emotion, his tools responsive to imagination. Focus your attention on this installment of County Line entitled Image and Emotion.
And I don't know how it's going to turn out. You never do know when you are sitting at that editing bench, cutting up those pieces of film and putting them together. You never are sure what the ultimate result will be. But every year I try to make at least one film.
Do you show your films to your students?
Diane, I have not put them through that torture at this point. I might just decide to do that in the future, however.
The word sincerely comes from the Greek, meaning without wax. When bronzes in Greece were done, if they needed to be repaired, they repaired them in wax. So when something's brought to the point of perfection, it is sincere and therefore without wax.
Oh, okay. What role does the bronze casting take or have in the final resolution of the piece?
Well, I'm unusual in that way. Most artists see bronze casting as merely a means of getting an idea into a permanent material and don't tend to change it. In fact, if you go to a commercial foundry, their role is to create something in bronze that is exactly like the model that you brought them. I tend to change the piece quite a bit in the metal. I can find, and what's important to me in my work is that...
In the next half hour, we will explore this beautiful park from its historical landmarks to its community resources, all on this edition of County Line.
To begin with, how did you become administrator at the park?
I started as the administrator of Washington Crossing Historic Park almost 1 year ago to the day. Formerly, I was the manager of Hope Lodge in Montgomery County, another site administered by the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission. So it was actually an in-house promotion for me.
Well, that was quite a little piece of footage we had there. Marcy, can you tell us, are there any specific rules in this rally?
Okay, basically the rules that I went over with no speeding, no drinking. We would like you to wear your seatbelts. If you do pull over to write down the answer of a question, to pull completely off the road and use your flashers.
Okay, as I'm walking, I have set up the question in my mind that I want a reaction when I cross a full-time, active, year-round water vein.
Okay.
At that point, the rods will move to the side, and I get a reaction. I'll go past it, turn around, and then come back and double-check the reaction.
So can we use any type of implements? Are they special rods, special metals, special materials that have to be used?
You can use just about anything. Traditionally, you have the wooden Y-shaped stick, and they're very nice. I really like wood.
This week, we will meet an organization who is striving to keep the blues alive here in Bucks County, all on this edition of County Line.
I understand that you won the W.C. Handy Award in 1983. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the W.C. Handy Award comes from the Blues Foundation in Memphis, Tennessee, which is a nonprofit organization for keeping the blues alive, and we won the award in 1983 for keeping the blues alive. Subsequently, Kansas City Blues Society has won it, Santa Barbara Blues Society won it before we did.
We'll speak of cemeteries and deceased citizens of renown on this presentation of County Line, entitled Amid Grief and Glory.
Because in early America, we didn't have embalming per se. Things were handled by families back then. There was no undertaker per se. There was a cabinet maker. He made the coffins, but the family...
And we kept the weight light. It's only 150 pounds, but this is an exercise that I think is very good for athletes because it's a coordinated exercise, and it involves the whole body. That's a dead hang clean from the thighs.
Oh, too much for me.
an athlete, a really good athlete, tends usually to be a 5 or more in mesomorphy, and that includes basketball players. They're also very linear, but if you look at them, you'll see a lot of muscle on those
Yeah,
bodies.
they're just not tall, gangly people that
They're very
that can
muscular.
run along.
Sure, and most of them are weight trained.
Yeah.
Up, 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 up. Come on, up, up. Thank you. No, no, no. Up, up. You're okay. Look, look, you're going to be a star. Come down here, Bart.
Mary Jane,
Come down. Come on, put your foot down.
Bart seems awfully tame
Well,
to come in. Have you toured with him oftentimes?
yeah, I use Bart when I do educational programs, which I do with schools and any interested groups. And this is the bird that I generally take with me, so that he's not used to the television lights, but he's used to people.
Right.
This is the pumpkin that's coming out. Now this had to stay in, as I told you, at least an hour, because you want your pumpkin to be done so that when you slice it, you get some of the pudding inside plus the pumpkin, and everybody gets a slice as I'm doing it, and you put it on their plate like that. You can also see it steaming. It's hot. It is a hot pudding.
I first wanted to show you, share something that we use along the hearth, and this is something that anyone cooking on the campfire or on their own hearth could use. We've taken a rather thick piece of wood, and in the 18th century they would have used oak or...
Few buildings in the United States can match the historic significance of Summerseat, a stately Georgian mansion built in the late 1760s, about a half-mile from the falls of the Delaware River, in what is now the borough of Morrisville, Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
What does, you're on the board of directors, what does the board of directors do?
Well, we sit around the table every month for about a couple of hours and try to figure ways to attract money and to spend money. Actually, it's not hard to spend it, especially when you're working on an old building.
No, I don't think we really have to get into that, but it is particularly the melody part with 3 harmony parts singing around it. The tenor part singing usually above the lead, the bass singing a somewhat harmonious part below the lead, and the baritone sort of fills in all the cracks, as we say, and just sings all the notes that are missing to make a full 4-part chord.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A one-horse